All right. Because he was supposed to pay by yesterday, so I'll see if he paid, if he's gonna pay today, I don't know. Or sometimes if he pays online with that online thing, doesn't it take a long time?
Not anymore. It takes
Anymore.
24 hours.
Mr. Britton, can you hear me?
Yes, ma'am.
Mr. Britton, at the last hearing, you indicated that you wanted a court-appointed attorney, but you haven't paid the deposit, so I'm not gonna give you an attorney.
I understand that. My attorney, the one that they appointed me was Gramstrup is his last name.
Yep, I'm taking him off though, unless you're gonna pay for him yourself.
I can't pay for him right now. That's why I was going to talk. He had told me to talk to y'all, but when we had the last court hearing, we didn't actually have time to talk. You were busy at the moment, so I didn't think anything of it. So I was waiting until today so I could see if I could. So I had a court hearing up in Barnes, Wisconsin. Well, not Barnes, but that's where I was living at. Anyways, they let me do a payment plan. So I pay $100 every month to pay off the fines and fees and everything else for that case. I was seeing if I could do the same thing for this case.
That's what happens when you get an attorney bill, but I require a deposit. I require money down. So if $500 is too much, I can do that. But as of right now, Mr. Gramstrup's not appointed because I don't have a deposit. You may have talked to him, but that would have been a freebie. Because as my point of view, he's not your attorney.
Yes, ma'am.
Because you haven't made a deposit. We can talk about that later to see if I would take a lesser deposit, but I'm going to want to know if there is an offer and where we're going to go. And then we can talk about a deposit and I'll talk about that on the record. And if there's something else that you can afford, but I'm going to call the case 19-CM02 State of Wisconsin versus Lance Britton. The state appears through District Attorney Kevin Schmidt in person. We have Lance Britton by video conferencing with approval of the court. It says he was to have Christopher Gramstrup as his counsel, as a court-appointed counsel. Mr. Britton was court ordered to pay a $500 deposit by January 13th to have Mr. Gramstrup appointed to that case. He has not paid that. Therefore, the court is not going to appoint Mr. Gramstrup, and he is not appointed to that matter. And so the court at this time is going to ask Mr. Schmidt if there is an offer on the case, and then I will proceed to see if you wish to continue to have a court-appointed attorney, and then we will discuss financial aspect of that further, Mr. Britton. But as of right now, I need to know where the case is going because I'm going to tell you the county's not going to pay for your representation. So, Mr. Schmidt, what is the offer?
The offer in this case would be pleading to carrying concealed weapon for court costs, dismissed but read in everything else.
All right, so the offer is plead to count 1, carry a concealed weapon, a misdemeanor for court cost, dismiss the other 2, and that's it. So that is the offer. So you know the offer. Are you still going to request an attorney or not?
If that's the offer, no, ma'am, I request not to have an attorney.
Well, Mr. Gramstrup is on here right now. I'll put him on and let him know what's going on, but I'm going to update him so he knows, because he is a very good attorney and I don't want him to think that he missed court. Mr. Gramstrup, I just updated Mr. Britton and I'll update you because he hasn't paid the deposit. You are not his attorney. I have not court appointed you because he did not pay. And so you are not his attorney. You can sit there and you can listen at this point. But right now, I did have Mr. Schmidt present the offer to Mr. Britton to see where this case was going. And then I was going to ask Mr. Britton if he still wanted an attorney. And then I was going to get to the financial aspect of what, whether or not, which deposit, et cetera, to where we would go, because he would need to have a court-appointed attorney because I stated that the county's not going to pay for his representation, obviously. Need to ensure that it's going to be paid back. So Mr. Schmidt indicated that the offer was plead to count 1 for costs. And so I want to make sure if Mr. Britton would like to have an attorney, he has $300 down right now from his warrant, but I'm not certain if he wishes to accept that offer or if he wishes to continue to have an attorney. And Mr. Britton, I'm willing to accept a lower deposit if you wish to have Mr. Gramstrup. If that's something that you are looking at doing. I don't want to put you in the corner. But the county can't front your legal bill. Would you like to have a brief moment with Mr. Gramstrup in a confidential breakout session?
If that's possible, yes, ma'am.
All right, back on the record, same appearances as previously noted. Was that enough time, Mr. Britton?
Yes, ma'am.
Are you going to accept the offer or do you want an attorney officially appointed? What do you want to do?
I was going to accept the offer.
All right. So here's what I'm willing to do. Mr. Gramstrup, stay on, please. If you're willing to accept the offer, I can go ahead and take care of that here today.
Okay.
How you wish to accept the offer to carry a concealed weapon? Count one. How old are you?
I am 35.
Can you read, write? Do you understand the English language?
Yes, ma'am.
Any drugs, alcohol, or other medications in the last 24 hours?
No, ma'am. I've been sober for 3 years.
Mental illnesses or diseases or disorders?
No, ma'am.
Highest level of education?
Some college.
Do you understand that you have a right to go to a jury trial? You would have the right to have an attorney or yourself cross-examine the state's witnesses or call witnesses to testify for you. You would have the right to testify on your own behalf or remain silent and not have your silence used against you. You would have the right to have that jury trial in which 12 of your peers would need to reach a unanimous decision as to a guilty verdict or find you not guilty. And you would also have the right to have the state prove your guilt beyond a reasonable doubt. Do you understand all those rights you're giving up here today?
Yes, ma'am.
All right. So do you understand that if you're not a citizen of the United States, your plea could result in your deportation?
Yes, ma'am.
You understand that the state would have to prove on or around December 10th, 2018, that that in Burnett County, not being a peace officer or a person defined under Wisconsin law, you were armed with a concealed and dangerous weapon, a sword, a Class A misdemeanor. Do you understand that upon conviction, you face a fine of up to $10,000 or imprisonment of up to 9 months or both?
Yes, ma'am.
Do you understand that the offer here is a recommendation for court costs only, which would be $443? Do you understand that I don't have to follow that?
Yes, ma'am.
Said differently, I could sentence you all the way up to that maximum possible penalty if I thought it was warranted. Do you understand that?
Yes, ma'am.
Do you still wish to proceed and enter a guilty plea?
Yes, ma'am.
Are you admitting here today that you in fact did possess a sword?
I'm not trying to be rude or anything. It was a machete, but yes.
Oh, okay. Well, they identified it wrong, but it was a big old piece of metal that could cause a lot of damage, right?
Yes, ma'am.
All right. So, so you did possess that at that time. Okay.
ma'am.
So, has anyone made any threats or any promises to you for you to plead guilty to this charge?
No, ma'am.
You're doing so freely and intelligently, telling the court you fully understand what you're doing here today,
Yes, ma'am.
and you are doing it voluntarily.
Yes, ma'am.
Do you have any questions? Do you understand that you're pleading guilty by video, but you could be here in person, but you're in Nebraska, so you asked to appear by video? Do you understand? You could say, Judge, I want to be there in person. Do you understand that?
Yes, ma'am. I understand.
And so you're okay with appearing by video?
Yes, ma'am. I am.
And even though I didn't officially appoint Mr. Gramstrup because there wasn't a deposit, I did give you time to talk to him, correct?
Yes, ma'am. I appreciate that.
All right. Do you have any questions for me or anyone else at this time?
No, ma'am. I do not.
All right. So as to count one, carrying a concealed weapon, how do you wish to plead?
plead guilty, no.
The court will find your plea of guilt is done knowingly, intelligently, and voluntarily. I will find that you understand your constitutional rights and what it means to waive and give up those rights. I will find a factual basis to accept your plea of guilt. Based on that, I will find you guilty of count 1. As to count 2 and 3, I will dismiss and read them in for purposes of sentencing. A judgment of conviction will be entered today. Mr. Gramstrup, although you were not like officially appointed because he didn't pay a deposit, you will get paid for your time at minimum $100. I will guarantee that at minimum $100, but the court will cover if it's over $100. I'm going to make sure you're covered. Okay. But
Okay.
so if you want to argue, you can argue. If you don't, you don't have to. All right. So Mr. Schmidt, argument.
I think costs are appropriate. This happened more than 6 years ago. If there are any criminogenic needs, I don't know that they'd be relevant anymore. This was an odd fact pattern where a vehicle stopped for routine traffic things. The police thought the vehicle was suspicious because it was spray painted black and because the ignition had been disassembled and was running on like wires. The driver admitted to having like knives and a tomahawk. They found those, and then they also found what they described as a sword in the vehicle as well. Given where the tomahawk was, it probably could have been charged as carrying a concealed weapon as well. I think cost for this is appropriate. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Gramstrup, anything you want to add or say?
Yeah, Your Honor, I have had a fair amount of contact with Mr. Britton, and he does have some prior criminal history. However, because this is old, it's a 2019 case. He since then has been doing pretty well, and conversations I've had with him really seem to indicate that he's gotten his act together. So I agree that the cost is appropriate.
Thank you. Mr. Britton, anything else you want to add? Anything you want to tell me?
Just like they were saying, like Mr. Gramsci was saying, I've been doing good. I'm 2 years sober now. I got a job. I got my kids. I'm doing pretty good. I even got my license back. So appreciate just having a court fines. When it comes to the court fines, am I able to do a certain payment plan? Because
Mr. Britton.
with the 2 kids and all that stuff. No.
Mr. Britton, I'm going to do you one even better. I am proud of you. I don't know you because quite honestly, this is a 2019 case. I'm going to guess I don't even think you were in front of me even once. No, you just missed you. I don't even know if you were even arrested and brought in front of me for bail. You weren't. You were never in front of me. I don't know you from Adam. So I'm going to tell you that I don't know you, but I'm proud of you. 2 years sober. You have a job. You didn't have a driver's license and you got your driver's license back. You have done all that you need to do. So this is what I'm going to do. I have a mandatory requirement that I have to assess $200 DNA surcharge. I'm assessing a $200 DNA surcharge only for the carry concealed. I'm ensuring that $100 at minimum goes to Mr. Gramstrup. I want to make sure that even though you didn't, I want to make sure that he gets compensated because he talked to you, he did some stuff, and I want to make sure that I'm waiving the rest of the court costs and fees. You're good to go because
Thank you.
I'm proud of you, and I think you're doing awesome.
Your Honor,
Thank you.
can I ask how much does Mr. Britton have posted?
He has $300 posted.
Okay, I can tell the court that my bill would be substantially over $100, but I'll follow suit and I'm just going to bill him. I'll just bill $100, so he's not going to owe the county any more in additional funds.
Thank
Mr.
you.
Gramstrup, that is commendable. Thank you so much.
You bet. Good luck, Lance.
All right, thank you. Have a
All
good
right.
one.
Thank you both. We are adjourned.
Have a good day.
Thank you. Have a good day.
Mr. Gramstrup, I truly do thank you for that. That is very
Oh, you're welcome,
commendable.
Your Honor. Absolutely.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Have a good day.
Thank you very
You
much.
too.